Well, I've been trying to tell this story for a long time. Since the day I left the place, and then for a long time I didn't know how to articulate it, and then I didn't want to articulate it, and then I wrote about it for a long time, but I wasn't happy with anything that I wrote. A number of guys from Bravo Company there, and we were sitting around telling our yarns, and Betty said to me, when these guys get up and leave, those stories are going to die. And she said, we need to tell this story, and I said, okay. We were driving home from Denver back to Boise, and she said, we're going to make a film. And I said, okay, right. And it's like, I know nothing about, absolutely nothing about film, other than I like to sit and watch it. So we joined the Idaho Media Professionals, and we met some people there, and they started saying, you can do this. The whole time this is going on, I didn't, you know, I'm not worried about it because we're not going to do this, because we don't know what we're doing. So then we got this harebrained idea about getting in touch with the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, and she sent them a letter or an email and said, do you have grants for people that do this kind of stuff? And they said, well, what are you going to do? Send us a letter. And we wrote them a letter, and they gave us some money. And we thought it was a lot of money, and it was like, it was a drop in the bucket.
North Vietnamese scored a hit on the Marine ammunition dump.
But then on the 21st of January, 1968, we were surrounded by the North Vietnamese Army, and ensued a 77-day siege. And we lived in holes like rats. I mean, we were like rats.
And then all of a sudden, I saw this, you know, NVA patrol came out of nowhere. He stepped out on the silhouette of the skyline, like I say, and all of a sudden I saw his head and shoulders, and he was coming towards me, and it was just total panic, you know, as far as like, what do you do? And he walked up almost to my feet and stopped. And I thought for sure he was looking at me, you know, and I was just laying motionless because I didn't know if I had time. My rifle was laying on the side of me here. I didn't have it in my hand. A lot of things go through your mind, you know, and I didn't know whether to try to grab this rifle or to lay and see what happened.
When he told that story, it was one of those moments where raised the hair on the back of my neck because of how close he was to death and how he escaped it. And after we got all the interviews, we came home and I began to transcribe the interviews so I could see where the story was. When I read that, I said that was what I thought was the best way to open this film. And the reason was because a lot of documentaries about war or about maps and experts telling you about what happened and this and that. But really when you get down to it, war happens to people. And the story he told was a microcosm of what happened at Quezon on to us, that we could all die at any minute, but the ones that are in this film, we managed to get out of there alive. You know, I think most of the guys that were in Vietnam, you know, we weren't real popular when we came home, so we stuffed all of our anxieties and our stories. So working on this film has allowed me to inspect my personal reactions to that experience. It's like, the problem when you come back from combat, and this has, I think, probably been since the history of when we were throwing rocks at each other, is when you go through those kind of experiences, you don't know how to articulate them. And you're not sure anybody that listens to them will understand them. So you keep your mouth shut. And you know, I think that it would behoove people to learn how to deal with their emotional response to being in combat by examining it. And art is a perfect way to do that, because as I was saying, there's somehow, when you become the artist, you detach yourself, remove yourself one level from that relationship you have with your experience. And you become introspective, and you become analytical, and you become creative, and you can fashion it in a number of ways that allows you to inspect your experiences. Okay, once we got started on this project, it was just like, there's been nothing like this ever happened to me in my life. I mean, this has been fun. I mean, it was joyful to make this movie. It was a joyful experience. It was artistically, you know, it was like I was ecstatic when we were putting this film together. That's all I can say. It was just, I've never had that much fun in my life.